Hey everyone, this is Kevin from thechesswebsite.com, and today we're going to be looking at a tricky ending, and that is the Rook versus the Knight. Now obviously in this case, there's no way for Black to win with just simply a Knight, but White usually has a hard time winning a game with Rook and Knight. But we are going to go over what White should do and how Black should defend. Now, as you can tell from this example, if it's White's move, White can simply move King 2, G2, and the Knight's going to be lost. There's no way the Knight can move to get out of the way of harm, and he's going to be captured, and it's going to be a pretty easy endgame for White. More times than not, it's not going to be that easy. So we're going to take a look at some other examples and see just how hard it can be. But by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to do it. Let's go and take a look at another example here, and as you can see, our Rook is being attacked by the King. Now I have all these colors out here, so you can take a look. If the Knight is in one of these red squares here around, then there's a great chance that you're going to win this. This is really where you want the Knight to be. If his Knight is here, you can usually win. If his Knight is in the yellow, you have a good chance, but not as great as if it's in the red. Now if you allow the Knight to get into these squares in the middle, then the game for the most part is going to be drawn unless there's incorrect play by either of the sides. So from here, the Rook is being attacked by White. A lot of times you may see someone try to get their Rook out of harm's way by moving something like E8, trying to get his Rook out of the way, saying that later on he'll attack the Knight. This is actually going to be a drawn game. If Black plays correctly, this is going to be a drawn game, and White has lost his initiative and the game itself. He would have won, and now he's going to draw. So let's go ahead and take a look at what White should have done. What White should have done, and what you need to think about in a Rook versus Knight endgame, is you want to limit the squares that the Knight can go to. So in this case, our best move is just simply Rook to E3. And you can already see that we've taken away all the squares that the Black Knight can go to. A3, C3, and D2. Even if the Black King tries to come and attack us again, we can simply move to B3, and we've taken away all the squares the Knight can go to, and we're attacking him as well. On the next move, we are going to take the Knight, and then it's simply a King and Rook endgame, which is much easier than trying to figure out how to win. This right here is a clear win from White after we take the Knight. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more examples and see how we can take this Rook and Knight endgame and turn it into a win for White. Let's go ahead and take a look at another example here, and go ahead, it's White's move. Go ahead and take a minute to see if in your head you can figure out where White should go. So if you need to pause it, figure out where you think White should go, that he'll win here. And I hope you came up with the move Rook to F8. And what this does is it takes away all the squares that the Knight can go. The Knight can't go to F7, can't go to F5, and he can't go to Rook to G8. So from here, the Black King is going to move to D6. Now take a minute again and think about where you think White should move. And hopefully you came up with the simple move Rook to F6, forking the Knight. The King's going to have to move, and then we can simply take the Knight here on H6, and then it's just simply a King and Rook endgame versus the King, which is a pretty easy win for White. Now, if you thought about something like King to G5, the Black King can simply come to E7 attacking our Rook, and this is actually going to be a drawn game. There's nothing White can do if Black plays correctly to win this game. So hopefully you're seeing it a little bit clearer. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more example, and hopefully that'll ingrain it a little bit more into your brain. Let's go ahead and take a look at this example here, and take a minute and pause the video if you want to, and see where you think White should move to make sure that he has a winning game here. And hopefully you just came up with Rook to D5. Obviously right away the Knight could not come to C5 or E5 because our Rook was attacking it, but we want to limit the squares he can go to, and the only squares he can go to, we're attacking it, so he has to move are F8 and F6. And it doesn't matter which one he moves to now, because then we can simply come to Rook to F5 and fork the Knight here. Once the King moves, then we're going to take the Knight here. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully you all have learned something. If you do come to an endgame and you see a Rook and Knight, look at where the Knight is in relationship to the rest of the board, and if he is on the outer rim, then more than likely you're going to have a winning endgame. So take this, and if you ever do come across it, now you'll know how to turn this slight advantage into a victory. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching, everybody.